You're listening to Challenge Shakes Podcast, the only podcast that could win more games than the Red Sox. Welcome to Challenge Shakes Podcast, the hottest challenge shakes on the internet. And I'm accompanied by Brian Smith.
Let's go.
And I'm Joe Puglisi. You cut me off.
Oh, I did.
You cut me off, Brian.
You didn't do your normal spiel there.
Yeah, I did it a little out of order. I was doing it off the cuff.
Oh, I see.
So I was a little bit out there. But we are here. A few things have gone down in the past couple weeks.
Indeed.
Sox won the series.
Yeah.
My fantasy team won.
Oh, brag about it.
Yours didn't.
No.
You scored more points than me, though.
Six in a row. Not good.
You lost 6 in a row?
Yes, I did.
Oh, my.
It's not looking good for Team Brian, but this isn't a fantasy football podcast.
Yep. Any other big news that's happened in 2 weeks?
Well, there was that thing about Bananas telling Devin about his dead father.
Oh, yeah, that happened.
That was a little rough.
Yeah, bad boy Banana. I kind of forgot that happened. Oh.
This whole 2 episodes really was an illustration of everything I hate about Johnny.
Johnny.
John.
John.
Should I be pull an Abe and just be like John?
Well, I mean, he took his loss with grace.
He did not take it with grace. Do not call that taking it with grace.
They kept their head up. They didn't cause a fight. They didn't.
Of course, they weren't going to cause a fight.
People. Don't say of course. You know how many fights have been caused after eliminations this year?
But why would they cause what would they cause a fight for? I mean, Joss and Sylvia weren't talking shit to them.
Yeah, but you don't think that someone like Hunter would start throwing shade? I was expecting someone to throw shade and then them to blow up.
Well, they didn't throw shade, but really they did by laughing off the entire thing, like oh, it doesn't even matter, haha. Like Mr. 7-Eleven, Johnny Bananas.
Is that his record?
That is his record, and I've already seen memes on Twitter of a backpack with the 7-Eleven logo. It's just perfect.
He's really 7-11 in eliminations.
And not only that, but Tony is another thing, but I'll get to that later. In the sauna, possibly.
All right. Yeah, we got 2 episodes here. A lot went down in both episodes.
The only problem is so much happened, and yet almost nothing actually happened because of the redemption.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's the problem with this. And now that the way they're doing it now is with only 4 teams, and it's still going to be a double.
Yeah, it's going to be pain in the booty. These dang kids keep coming back.
What happened last week was Corey made a very bad mistake. Yeah,
I would say real quick for last episode, I don't really remember anything that happened besides this. Did anything else important happen besides this storyline?
Which was won by Natalie and Polly.
All right. Anything else happened in that episode?
That was pretty much it. There was this whole big incident was 40 minutes.
Yeah, that would explain why it's the only thing I remember from the episode.
Yep.
But yeah, Tony. You can't mess with a man's pasta.
Don't mess with a man's pasta.
This was 2 wrong people being wrong.
Now,
and then 2 other wrong people that shouldn't have been involved being fully involved and being wrong. Because Tony should not have thrown his pasta out the window. He's like, oh, sat in it, let me chuck it. But his thought process there was totally oh, he said it'd be really funny if I threw it out the window now. And then instead of admitting that he was wrong, stood up for it, and then even started getting confrontational about it.
Well, he was also drunk as fuck.
Yeah, he was drunk. So then Corey, so he was wrong for that because he was absolutely antagonizing Corey.
Everyone in this entire incident was drunk at the moment. So.
Yeah, and then Corey assaulted him with extremely malicious intent. It wasn't no push or anything. This was a full on choke slam.
A full on Russian leg sweep onto the concrete is what this was.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a Russian leg sweep, and I believe tonight I just called it a choke slam, but I was the one last week who pointed out that it was a Russian leg sweep.
Russian leg sweep. He upon further review, he sweeps his leg out and throws him down.
And it was a tremendous sell by Tony, I would say. Usually people don't get height on Russian leg sweeps, and he sure did. But
he shot on him. It was a shoot.
yeah, it was a shoot. But he was clearly wrong for the physical altercation. Tony was wrong for antagonizing.
I don't even know if Tony necessarily antagonized. I think he was just...
He got up in his face.
He didn't get in his face. He put his arm around him and he was trying to...
He was... Oh, that's prime antagonizing.
Yeah, he wasn't
right
like yelling.
Like, it's
Corey
fine,
definitely
dude.
didn't want anything to deal with that. So
he was, and Tony was just laying it on.
Like Corey could have pushed, like a push there would have been, a small push would have been acceptable. Mm-hmm. Obviously not a full on slam into the
Tony was
concrete.
Antagonizing so much. However,
he still thought it was a joke, and obviously it wasn't to Corey. So
yeah. I tend to think, I mean, I know that he was drunk, but I tend to think he knew more than, like, to him it's a joke, but he did know that to Corey it wasn't a joke.
At that point,
he definitely had to have known.
And I don't think he was trying to smooth things over or anything. He was...
No, exactly. He was laying it
trying
on
to
him.
make fun of him more, yeah.
Yeah. And, in that sense, you had it coming, but you also can't justify under any circumstances physically assaulting
again, a light
someone.
push is what you do there.
Yeah. And that was a real fucked situation. And then it came in that Devin started defending his teammate. Being a real bro here. Like, where even if your boy's wrong, you, like, just defend him to the end.
I actually just don't think he saw what happened, so that's what he was...
No, I know you're caught up right now on the whole leg trip thing. Yeah. I'm just saying, okay. In general, like, he just broed down and was like, this is my teammate. I'm going to defend him to the end, no matter what is happening.
And did the same thing, so...
Yeah, and he comes in hot, and he's... There's like a whole gray area of just a lot of shouting that kind of happens here between him and Bananas and other people and blah, blah, blah.
The thing is that Bananas very clearly was talking shit about him behind his back because Devin repeatedly says, why is it that when I'm in the room, you got nothing to say to me?
Well,
and he kept saying this as he followed him outside across to another room, then through that room, then up the stairs.
You've gone too far. So basically, I was saying there's a gray area between that, what you're referring to, and the fight of just like 5 minutes of just screaming.
Oh yeah,
and
Nelson and Bananas got into it.
Yeah, and this is where Devin went too far because now Devin is antagonizing Bananas, and technically a guy who I don't even know if it was in the Devin was right next to Corey when he did it. Yeah. I believe Bananas was in the vicinity. But, he wasn't, like, right there.
But to be fair, I think at this point, anything that happens between Devin Bananas is it doesn't have to do with the Corey and Tony.
Yeah. So, but this is full antagonism, or, like, just getting in on him. Like, you can't, like, he's like, you're not going to sleep or something tonight.
Well, that was the next day.
Was that the next day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Devin has never said anything to Bananas that he hasn't said before, basically.
At this point?
Yeah. Yeah. Is following him outside into the rain a bit much? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I get
that's what
some,
I'm saying. He was totally antagonizing.
Do I get some enjoyment out of it? Yeah, somebody who doesn't like Bananas? Yeah.
It was fun to watch, but I was even sitting here like, now you are like in a sense, you are like bullying Bananas.
Oh, sure, but when Bananas has done much worse over cases of bullying, much worse.
Yeah, well, this is a case that I was, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. So try to be a better person here, because he's literally he's doing what Bananas does to other people, and that makes you no better than Bananas?
But then Bananas proved that he is infinitely worse.
He sure did.
Because
and this was just like, come on, man.
As Devin says. And Devin said, I live inside your head. Now, that's obviously an exaggeration, but he very clearly gets in Bananas' head like no one we've seen before, at least in a while. Because the fact that Bananas had to resort to such a low blow to get Devin off his back means that Devin is in his head.
No, he is. And he's in his head so much that Devin had finally stooped as low as Bananas, which he always like held to like that he was in the higher echelon than Bananas. And then, but you're right, Bananas then decided to go lower. That was ridiculous. Referring to his dad. That's too far, especially because that's not like saying like, making a dad reference a year after your dad died, which is already like uncalled for.
It was on his mind.
This is like, by my count, would probably be like maybe a month and a half after.
Yeah, probably that. Yeah, about a month and a half.
Yeah, so that's too much.
And again,
ridiculous.
It's not, I saw a lot of bad takes on this, like Bananas was pushed against a wall and he had no other option. Like he clearly had this in his head at the moment. Like I was gonna say, like I could say that to Devin as a low blow.
Was his back against the wall? No, well, maybe it was, but there is an option. There was another option here, to not say that.
Yeah, come at him with something else. Devin never made anything super personal with him. And Bananas, it's always got to be about, oh, you're using me for camera time, of course.
Yeah. Well,
and his apology was also ridiculous because it was very clearly, to me at least, something that producers like almost forced him into doing.
Producers made him
to save fate.
They probably told him to say it. However, I did get some sincere vibes from it.
Maybe sincere that he knew he went too far, but he's not going to apologize. The fact that he didn't apologize to Devin
he wouldn't apologize without producers telling him, but he did. But the apology did show that you're right, he did know he went too far.
Yeah, but that's it. Like I don't buy like he actually genuinely wanted to like say sorry to Devin because he didn't.
No.
And Devin was obviously very almost emotional about it the next
day. Really the most important thing that happened this episode would be when Devin and Corey inevitably get kicked off the show. Mm-hmm. By far the most significant event in the challenge this season happens, where Josh stands up and comes hard flying at Bananas for about 3 seconds, and then Sylvia grabs his balls and he immediately turns around and walks away and sits down.
It wasn't even aggressive. It was just like, Josh, come on, man. And he just you know what though? That should not be made fun of though. Listening and being respectful towards your partner should not be a bad thing, and that's something that Bananas can't comprehend either, because he was trying to clown Joss for it later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's pretty much all of our thoughts on the last episode. There was some funny trivia moments, like when Marie fell off and TJ was like, "That's for Brad," and when Ashley and Hunter couldn't spell Armageddon, but then they suddenly could.
Oh yeah, that I really can't believe they pulled that out of their butt, because it like kind of comes down to like how to spell the word or you don't, and there's very little wiggle room in between, and I can't. So I'm really surprised that they managed to pull off spelling it after like so much confusion. With the exception though of I think the reason why it was spelled is because Hunter knew it the whole time.
Yeah, actually was trying to like. No,
But he kept giving it up to her to let her do it. I can't believe they didn't give her them an X, because usually they're like stiff about like when you start giving an answer, like that's it, and then maybe you might like get a little bit of leeway, but they gave about 4 or 5 answers before they got it correct. So I'm just surprised they gave it to him. It's maybe just 'cause it was too much fun. TJ's gonna give it up. He loves the trivia challenges.
All right, well, let's get into this week's episode.
Yeah, I think we did mention that Paulie and Natalie won that.
Yeah, we mentioned in the beginning. So the beginning of this week, a little bit of a survey of the politics side of the house. Bananas and Tony feel that no matter what, Car and Marie are probably the team that's screwed, and Car also thinks that they're pretty much screwed no matter what.
Okay.
Redemption House was rather boring until Bananas and Nelson got there later on. So like it was just a small conversation where they claimed they wanted to take Nelson out. Brad keeps saying like, I'm going to throw him in every single time I ever have a chance.
Oh yeah, I was trying to remember
those empty threats never work out. So
no,
they never mean anything.
Yeah, come on. How many times did Jose come through with his threats?
So we got the club scene where the Lavender Ladies finally come together and say, screw it, we have no other options. We're all voting Tony Bananas in, and we're seeing what happens.
Yeah, and that was kind of cool.
And it was good by Marie, too.
Rather than just like cutting down Cara and Marie.
I think Marie, I don't know if she necessarily played the Lavender Ladies, but she kind of, I mean, they didn't want Marie to go in, so I guess not. I guess she almost, in a way, played Bananas into maybe a false sense of security here.
Well, by the standards of, because they packed so much content into this episode,
yeah,
you didn't really see the behind the scenes talking between teams. Besides the club scene, you never knew what Paulie and Natalie were going to do. You never knew what Bananas and Tony were thinking, and you had like a half-baked idea of what Marie and Cara were doing. Yes. So it was kind of it was just kind of like a bunch of up in the air nonsense, where you didn't get to like actually like most of the time they spend like 45 minutes talking about this stuff on the show. So, I mean, that was kind of a breath of fresh air for me, but
then they went back to the storyline that nobody wanted, which was Benatali again.
Yeah, that came back.
Now, at least I'll say for this, at least there's game implications. But again, they're trying to pass this off as like a jealousy thing. They still have feelings for each other and all this, and it's like, no.
Yeah, of course.
Bananas just wants Natalie's vote. That's what it is. He knows that like Natalie won the challenge, so now he's trying to control her vote and make her do what he wants to do.
And there's something too. Natalie and Paulie, two challenges in a row.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that.
Oh right, oops.
Spoiler.
Oops.
We spoiled a lot.
I was sorry. My brain's all jumbled up with these two episodes. Yeah. You're referring to last episode's challenge, carrying into this one.
But honestly,
Spoilers.
Who is Natalie hurting by just hanging out and like dancing with Nelson and Hunter? Like, Nelson and Hunter are cool dudes, I'm sure, to hang out with.
Yeah, there's...
You know, it's not cool to hang out with whiny Bananas in the corner complaining about how everyone's against him, like he's probably been doing the whole season.
Probably. But, I mean, Tony hangs out with him.
Yeah, well, he has no choice.
He's kind of forced to do it.
Tony's getting projectively worse, like, as this season. He's turning into, like, Bananas 2.0, and I do not like it.
He's just... I was talking about earlier with like backing your teammate, I think he's just backing his teammate. That's exactly what he's doing, because at the end of the day, regardless of what he thinks, he's saddled with Bananas, and that has such a negative connotation that he's not going to get escape.
But I'm more referring to, I guess, more of it like some of the stuff he said online on Twitter is like total Bananas stuff now. Like he's made jokes about women's appearances, and he's said like, "Oh, this person doesn't have any."
What I would say is, does that really shock you?
About Tony, yeah, because his ego is insane for somebody who is not the best. As much as I talked about how great he was last season.
Well, I'm saying this shouldn't shock you, because Tony has like, first off, Tony's been in the bag with Bananas for like ever.
Yeah.
They've always been hanging and chilling.
But
he has a history of very outlandish behavior when he drinks, and not to say that every tweet he's putting out he's drunk or anything, but if those like feelings and instinctive behavior come out when he drinks, that means that it exists in him regardless. So even if he's sober, it can come out to a lesser degree. And he also runs through, or you know, he's a changed man now, but he used to run through women like it was his job. So none of that surprises me at all. I never said that Tony's a good guy. He's just really fun to watch.
Yeah, but this season, I don't think he has been fun to watch. I think he's been pretty insignificant in the grand scheme of things.
Well, unfortunately, it's because he's saddled with Bananas.
Exactly. And that's the main thing that I'm super disappointed about.
If he was in the original team, I mean, he wasn't supposed to be on the team. It sounded like, you say it was going to be like him and Corey.
Him and Madison, his girlfriend.
That was supposed to be the team coming in?
It was going to be one of the teams coming in, I believe. That's a rumor.
So he would have been a lot more entertaining in that, because he would have been the star of the team. Same way that we've always talked about like that. That it would have been a lot better if it was Bananas and Devin and Tony and someone else. That it would just been just a lot more fun.
Bananas and yeah.
But
that's what that's what disappoints me.
It really is how you. I mean, last episode we got a huge taste of just literally like what one episode of Bananas and Devin can be like.
Yeah.
And we saw also an episode of that last season. Imagine if we got a whole season of that.
It would have been so fun.
Oh my god!
But then
I would say though it would literally have like 60% of the TV time though.
Well, Bananas ends up getting it no matter what because they always push his storylines the most and give him the most like narrate and do him.
Yeah, and you guys
have him do the narrator.
And you like super fans tend to hate on that, and I don't have a problem with that at all because I look at it as a business point of view.
Well, that is true. Yeah, I agree.
Bananas sells way more than anybody else
for some reason
on the for the business, so that's why he gets pushed. Same way that Kara sells. Like, and that's why they're the two biggest stars on the challenge right now. It's because they make
give them a season off.
It's because then the ratings for the season would be lower. So they are gonna put. I know so. There's definitely a lot of casual fans that are just there because they like Bananas or they like Kara.
Lame.
They don't even watch every episode of the season. Sometimes they forget and they just kind of put together the pieces on the previously on, and they just watch and they like fucking Kara. They like Bananas. They probably like Tony. They love CT.
Zach apparently.
Oh, I'm sure they like Zach, and they're probably snuggling real close to Kyle right now.
I don't know about that. That's maybe Brad.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, of all the new people that they could possibly be snuggling up against as, like, a casual fan.
All those people are great, but, Sylvia, she's the worst.
Sylvia rules.
Yeah, and you know who most people don't like? Sylvia.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
When you're, like, when you're more, like, a hardcore fan, you tend to form your opinions a lot more. And you have more fleshed out opinions of these people, so it's just the way it is. And I'm sure up until season 30,
season 30's already passed.
Yeah, I said I'm sure up until season 30, a lot of casual fans' favorite chick was probably Camilla.
Yeah,
it's the way it is.
Yeah,
she sold well, and she was on a lot of seasons.
That's why Amanda's as hated as she is. How can you make yourself hated? You come in, you go for Camilla, and then Kara. So what's going to happen?
Yeah, so all the casual fans are going to hate you.
How's going to Shane comes in, Devin comes in, goes right for Bananas.
Yep. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of casual fans dislike Devin.
Oh, they do. After last episode, they do. I saw are you kidding me? All the opinions I saw of like, it's like he had it coming. He deserved it. It's like these people. Like I have words to say for if you actually think that Devin deserved those comments said his way. But anyway.
Yep. What happened next?
Where were we at? Oh, I was ranting about Natalie. Bananas just wants to control her. Natalie wants to do her own thing, which is fine. She never pledged anything to Johnny. Johnny just assumes she's. But they never even got on the same page in terms of the vote.
This is a segment, or this is a storyline built off of nothing. It's
built off of its TV time showmance.
Yeah, it's fully built by production, and then they've told these two to go into confessionals and talk it up a little bit more than they usually would, just to make it like a storyline that never existed, have some sort of semblance. That's what this whole thing is, and it's not even worth our time. It's a bunch of crap.
Now, we have some growth here because I said several weeks ago that Kara was the worst partner on this season of anyone. And I think that title now goes to Zach. But anyway, Kara actually realizes and recognizing how...
I would say it goes to Amanda.
Sure. Anyway, recognizing and realizing that Marie is actually pretty good at the political game. And like, okay, I'm gonna let her do this because she's good at this and she knows what her doing. Having trust and faith in her partner.
Yeah, she said that I'm gonna like trust Marie's gut feelings.
And I thought about this right away. This was exactly what they needed to do. Burn the vote on another team that's not going to get sent in by the power team, and then you're safe for the week. Johnny, I know, I get that theoretically they're in an alliance with Johnny, but the odds are he's going in no matter what. Just do what you have to do to stay another week. This game is so janky and random, like you never know what's going to happen. So
speaking of janky,
like there might not even be any more votes. It might just be all purges. Who knows?
What I'm saying. Speaking of janky and random. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like the next big segment on the notes is the elimination.
It is.
And this elimination was really, it was a two-parter, but it was more over just like a 10-second and then a parter. Because it was go get the puzzle pieces that are underwater and then spend an hour building this up to a certain height. And it's floating on water. And it's going to fall over a million times because we love janky, weird shit.
Well,
that was this elimination. This is like something that it would be an easier version, let me state. But this is something that would like totally be on Champs versus Stars.
This was hard though.
It was. That's why I said it would be an easier version.
Yeah.
But like something like this where like there's like just like a really wonky like building thing that has like some sort of event that's affecting it, like the water, like that's causing it to like ripple and fall over easily.
Yeah, and again with the freezing cold water, we're back to this again.
Yeah, you can't just like put in some like room temp water. Come on, some straight from the tap.
But I've never seen Johnny this. Well, we should get into the fact that they had the most votes, and they wanted to pick Nelson and Shane, their biggest team that's been after them all season, but they went with Joss and Sylvia, I guess because they felt like they were the weakest of the three.
Well, they decided to talk it down by saying that Shane's a great swimmer.
Yeah, but again,
I think they misread the challenge on that one.
Well, TJ doesn't explain until after they pick, so they saw water and just were like, oh, we probably don't want Shane.
Yeah, exactly.
But it wouldn't have mattered in the grand scheme of things because both teams just came down to them.
Shitty Nelson, who like just can't do water at all, would have been able to dive down and grab these pieces.
Yeah, Sylvia was able to do it.
Yeah, this was the water challenge aspect of this was related to the fact that it was cold and that it was rippling, so your stuff's gonna fall over. Not because you had to go underwater.
Never seen Bananas that angry, like in a challenge,
like mid challenge,
like he's just screaming, like "What the fuck is that?" But.
He was. It
was a
pissed.
while, just several failed attempts by both sides.
It wasn't long enough though that they would throw up the timer. Yeah. Like this has been going on for 30 minutes. Up. Well, that's what makes me think that this was only like 10, 15 minutes.
It was probably like 20.
Because the way I see it is, I imagine these towers are very easy to build. You can build them really quick. And this water is going to knock it down really fast. I bet some of those shots of, like, say, Tony and Bananas, a tower falling, like, you know, probably 10, 15 times, how many times they showed each team falling. I'm sure that sometimes some of those shots, 2 of the falls happened within 1 minute. Because like that's just like how fast you can build them and how fast they can fall.
At least 10 falls on either side. So
that's why I'm saying that I think it could have only been like 15 minutes. It's just you can build them quick and they can fall quick. That's just something I was thinking about.
Sylvia just decides to say, I'm taking the reins on this, and they end up getting it done. So Joss and Sylvia pull off the maybe upset win.
Shane was being such a jerk about it. It's like, Joss, just let Sylvia do it.
I mean, what works.
Like, emasculate the man even more. Come on, like, what else can you say about him? Like, how much more can you say to just make this guy feel worthless?
Well, again, not his fault that he's in the he's playing a great game. I don't want to hear anyone say otherwise.
Yeah, well, that's this team strategy. Like, I mean, he's the brawn, she's the brain, but that's also not to say that's what's great about Sylvia. She's also the brawn. Like she's really good at that. But like obviously, though, if you look at it on like who's better on the brain side, Sylvia. Who's better on the brawn side? Like, sorry, Sylvia, you're good, but like you're talking about Joss here. Like, so, that's what it is. It's the Brain and Brawn, and this was a brain challenge.
Elimination
brain
win.
elimination.
Number 5 for Sylvia. I'm gonna say this now so I don't forget it later, but it is a mild spoiler for what happens later on. But Sylvia and Joss are now officially the only team left in the game that has been there since the first episode and has not gone to a redemption house. So,
damn.
If anyone deserves to win, no, I don't get into deserves to win, but if anyone deserves to win, I know they haven't won any daily challenges. They've been close on a few, but like I think they just played a real almost a perfect game up to this point. They've made sure to vote the way they needed to every week. They've stuck their neck out in certain points for their alliance, and they've stepped up and won eliminations when they've had to. What really is there more to ask from them? I get that.
Other than drama
and camera time in the house, like they haven't been getting.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they're doing everything challenge wise great. In terms of what production would want in challenge and skill, and then also the drama side, they lack in that. But
I think a lot of that is just production under editing them too, though, because Sylvia is not a boring person. Like, I know she's not. I watched her Real World, and she definitely wasn't this like low key and quiet on there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't regret that she's been. I know maybe not getting it, but she's just not like starting fights, picking fights, or anything like that. She's not that kind of person.
No.
And that's what, and maybe not the best at like narrators. Maybe doesn't have so many like funny quips. I heard Joss has had a lot of stuff going on that hasn't gotten aired either with him.
Who?
Joss.
Yeah.
Like, he's had a few arguments here and there with people.
Well, that's they're leaving it out on purpose because they've decided to write this character as like the quiet guy.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Who just does his job and doesn't say anything. So that would, even though this would make him more of a 3-dimensional character by showing his fights, by leaving them out, it helps them write the story of the character that they want Joss to be.
Yeah, which is just a guy, he's basically just eye candy. At least that's how they edited him in the beginning of this season.
That's how they edited him last year.
And that's how they edited him last season too.
I want to say he's not eye candy right now.
But like not now. When the game is more picked up and is much more intense and serious now. But like early on in the game, that's all he was being edited as. He had like no depth to him at all. He was just, they had him stand there and like flex his muscles in the confessional.
Yeah.
It's never make like jokes that like they told him to make with sock puppets.
Forgot about that. Yeah. Sock puppet confessional.
The sock puppet thing when he did the Shane and Jose fight.
Oh, that was good. I forgot about that. What episode was that?
It's like 7 or 8 or something like that. Ancient history.
Yeah. That was 10 episodes ago.
I know. Crazy. This is officially about to be the longest season. One more episode, and this will officially be the longest season ever of the
18
challenge.
episodes?
Yep.
So we're tied right now.
Yeah, we're tied with 30-30. How is 30-30 end before this?
All I can say, though, is 30-30 didn't feel this long.
It felt
as much as 30-30 sucked, it did not feel like this 17-episode grind that I've gone on.
You know why? Because the first few episodes of 30-30 were actually like pretty good. Like, there were like interesting things happening, and it kind of tampered off towards the middle and got kind of boring. This season in the beginning, I think this season's been really good on the whole. I actually have liked it a lot, but the first like 5 episodes were maybe the worst 5-episode run in like ever in the show. Like, nothing happened.
That's bold.
5, 6, like it really picked up when Ashley and Hunter came in, maybe a little bit before that. But like everything that happened in the beginning was just so insignificant. Like, Paulie and Natalie lost that elimination. They're still in the game now. Like,
what episode was it? Episode 6 when Cam devised their big plan?
That was 7.
Yeah. That was, to me, where it really picked up. That was the first really good episode.
And that was where the game started picking up. There started to be less like, there was episodes like that one episode that literally had nothing but the redemption, and then another one that had nothing but a purge challenge.
Yeah.
Like, ugh. They got rid of Jenna and Jemmy and Chuck and Brittany were pretty insignificant teams, so it wasn't like it was a big loss.
Chuck you like Chuck? Guy. Great guy.
Kayla and Melissa, which again might as well be in BC.
Oh God, I can't believe that happened this season. When did that happen? In terms of like 2018?
2018, like in real time. When did that happen?
Like when it aired.
When it aired, July 10th was the premiere.
What the fuck?
I wasn't even 22 yet. Now I've been 22 for months.
Oh my god! What,
remember
July 10th?
Remember all those podcasts we did up here where it was like too hot and we were like sweating, and now we're like wearing sweatshirts and jeans. Like,
yeah, that is true. Like it's awfully cool in my room now, and before like it was brutally hot.
Like our first recorded that we did, the preview was like insanely hot. I was sweating.
By the way, because when this gets uploaded, it'll be Halloween. 10 days from then, and November 10th would be 4 months.
4 months.
4 months since Kaylee and Melissa tangoed. Kayla, whatever. So, fuck all of that. 4 fucking months? Jesus. That's brutal.
There would be a simple fix to all of this too. I think the idea having a redemption house is a crappy thing as a viewer. It's just annoying, but I could see why they do it from a production standpoint, because it does give characters more time to like develop and gives them more camera time in case they lost. That's the one good thing about it. So I can somewhat understand why they would think it's a good idea to do. Mm-hmm. The problem then is allowing teams to come back after they lost. That is
it's like communism. It works in theory, but in practice it just doesn't work. Like, I'm sure in a production meeting they came up with the idea of the redemption house, and they're like, so sometimes people get eliminated early, and we we didn't have fully developed storylines for them yet, and we want to give them more screen time, and it seemed like a novel idea, and it got the green light. And then like Dirty 30 and this season had it, and it's just a fucking slew of nothing until the challenges, and then a person comes back, and then they just do it again, and it's absolute nothing, and then it has one episode of being useful, and it's just not good.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is like nothing happens in the redemption house, and then suddenly they have like a whole episode that's just only redemption when they have the challenge. It's like, these people got all lost. Like, why they all get, and then you're basically just throwing everyone in the regular house under the bus who's actually been playing a good game, who actually hasn't lost.
Yeah.
So with the case with this season, multiple times.
Like, remember when like people would just like go home when they lost?
Yeah, last season.
Yeah.
Imagine how unimpactful.
When did that season start? Like December?
January.
Yeah.
It was over by like April 1st.
Yeah, good season.
Yeah, nice and short, like 14 episodes.
Good season.
Bananas took out Devin, and guess what? It was significant because Bananas went home.
You mean Devin?
Devin took out Bananas. And it was significant because Bananas is gone right after.
Yeah, gone.
He's not sitting there like laughing. He's like, "Oh, well, I'll get you next time." Like,
now, something I'll say is Troika was clunky, but altogether, like that season, besides like the kind of the issues I kind of thought about the Troika, was like really, really fucking good.
Yeah, the competition and challenges were fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the eliminations were good.
Yeah.
The only other thing that
overbearing.
The only other thing that sucked was obviously the final. We've talked about that. Challenge finals are usually bad, but I still stand by that was worse than the usual bad challenge final.
Okay, that's fine.
It was a good season. One of the best in the past like 5 years.
Strong opinion. I like it. Okay, we're gonna get to the
best season since Rivals
3, but you're the only person who likes Rivals 3, so it's
it's also like only like 3 seasons in between.
Yeah. I personally I'm an Invasion guy, so I'd go Invasion.
I mean, like, well, here's the thing: is Rivals 3 is like my personal favorite season, but like I also know that I'm just like wrong. It's just like it's just like something that like I like the the people on it.
You loved Rivals 1, and you went into that knowing that you barely knew like a lot of the people on that.
Yeah, that's why I say Rivals 1. Like unbiasedly, I can say I think I can say that Vendettas was the best season since Rivals 1.
That you've watched.
Yes. But I've watched every season besides I think Rivals 2 since then. So I have a good feeling.
let's get to the Purge challenge. Heads will roll, and this wonky system is just like now all of a sudden we got a challenge, and then we got a Purge challenge, and then spoiler alert preview for next week, another Purge challenge.
I don't like Purge challenges.
Yeah, I
only like them in the beginning of the season, and but then it comes with the fact that I then feel really bad for the people that get purged in the beginning of the season because they didn't even get a chance. Yeah.
Purge in the beginning, get rid of like one person.
Yeah.
And then maybe a purge towards the end to get rid of another one person. But do it in don't do a challenge like they did here. This is just a normal challenge. Do like a race or something.
Yeah, this really was. It was a normal challenge.
Yeah, because the fact that Shane, with how great of a game Shane has played, he's been stirring shit up all season, being super extra, and has won both eliminations. The fact that he's still there,
you're right,
and still in the head of the game, and then he goes home because his partner fell off a log. He didn't even get to compete or try.
You're right.
This supposed to be, and the same thing happened to CT earlier on.
What these should have been, a purge challenge. You just said that it should be a running challenge or something. A purge challenge should be those mini elimination challenges that they would do. All right, on today's challenge, we're going to be running up that mountain. You're going to go grab some pieces. You're going to do this. Yeah, the mini final challenges. Yeah. The one that always comes to mind to me for a mini final challenge was the one that that Mitch and Corey were in last place and then walked up there and did the puzzle in 10 seconds and then won. That is a perfect, make that do something like that and make it a purge.
And Cara and Marie lost that, so if that was a purge, they would have, or Cara and Jamie, they would have went home on that.
So there you go. That is a challenge that if you are going to do a purge challenge, that's the kind of stuff you got.
And they did it last season towards the end, and that's when Devin and Jemmy got clipped because Devin wasn't while Devin is not a bad athlete per se, he just wasn't up to par with the rest of the guys physically. Yeah, and obviously Jemmy was the worst. But he was
close.
He was close.
Wasn't it within
it was 2
seconds?
Yeah, 2 or 5 seconds or something between him and Kyle.
Yeah, and you know what? That was good. That was a good purge challenge.
And it cut Jemmy off because who wants to see Jemmy go to a final and get last?
Yeah, that was a good purge challenge. It was a fun little run around the city, and that's what it was. It was a mini challenge final.
The concept of those are good. The concept this season, though, seems to just be, let's fill up the Redemption House as fast as we can. Mm-hmm. Just so that they can then lose again and still get to stay in the Redemption House even more.
Yeah.
It's like they have some sort of initiative to make sure that we have these many beds filled up in the Redemption House at any given point.
Yeah. So that went on. What's the next segment?
We didn't even talk about the challenge at all. Okay. Paulie, by the way, I have to say, you can't ignore the performance from him in this. And it's pretty ridiculous. We're on episode 17, and we're just now finally starting to see Paulie even compete, really, in something. But for a showing, he was pretty phenomenal, I'll say.
He was really killing it.
Yeah.
He really was. He was going a mile a minute. And unfortunately, that was his downfall. He was going too fast, and he got careless.
But got more flags than everybody else.
But not before he did get the most flags.
Paulie and Natalie are a scary team.
Yeah, they're doing good. Paulie's really good.
If you call them into an elimination, you're probably going to beat them. But if they keep winning challenges, I mean, they haven't won. Well, they won last. I guess last week counts as because they could have got voted.
I think now, I don't know what's going to happen with people returning, but a good team is coming back because that Redemption House is currently stacked.
It's now 3 male teams. How about that?
Yeah, but what I would say of the teams that are still alive, how many teams are there? 5 that are still alive?
4.
4.
I think it's 4 and 4.
Okay, of the 4 teams that are technically still alive. Oddly enough, I would say of those 4 teams, Joss and Sylvia might have the best chance of winning a final, but I think right behind them is Paulie and Natalie.
You think Paulie and Natalie? More so than, what about, are you talking about the 4 teams in the main house?
In the main house. That's why I said the 4 teams still alive.
Yeah.
I And of course, one of those incredibly strong teams is going to come back, and they're instantly.
Don't forget about Hunter and Ashley too.
No, I didn't. I just think that they suck.
You think they suck? They did good in this.
They did, but I'm talking about running a final. I know Ashley's won a final. You don't have to bring that up, but but I just don't. I don't know how Hunter's going to handle running in a final. He seems like a gas out kind of guy.
If there's an eating thing, then they got it because Hunter.
Yeah. He just seems like a gas out guy.
He seems like a gas out? I don't think so.
Has he ever been to a final? No, right? No.
He doesn't seem like it to me.
I mean, as I'm saying, Paulie and Natalie have never been to a final. Yeah. Neither have Joss and Sylvia, but he just seems like one of those like rookie busts in a final.
Paulie and Natalie could strike me as the team that'll get might do okay on the endurance running part and then get stuck on a puzzle and lose.
I see that. I see that completely. And then
Joss and Sylvia will be not great at anything, but not terrible at anything.
Yeah, and they'd skate to a close second, 5 minutes off the lead, take the second place.
And we're not even including Marie and Cara because Marie running.
Cara would be killing it.
You gotta hope you're only as strong as your weakest. And I hate to say that because Cara really hasn't been that great. And even in this challenge, somehow is she just bursts across and then falls off, and he's like, Marie, what the hell? Marie was supposed to do something.
That was really silly. Just that whole.
I didn't know that it was distance. I thought it was time. So I was
I also thought it was.
It was Cara and Marie, they screwed themselves, but now it's distance.
Yeah.
But
it was.
Yeah. One last scene before we go, the redemption. Again, finally interesting now. It's Bananas right when he shows up there tells, I'm going to stir this pot.
We should directly clarify that Paulie and Natalie won.
Paulie and Natalie did win their second win. Impressive.
In a row.
This was a real impressive one.
Mm-hmm.
The last one was a little, there was a lot of politics involved, but yeah, they killed it. Natalie's won a lot of missions in her 2 seasons, despite losing every single time she's gone in, except for one, the one that mattered the most. So anyway, Bananas tries to stir the pot by telling Kaylee that Nelson is in bed with Natalie.
Yeah, and this is a 100% fabricated lie. But man, I wasn't even mad. This is how you play the game.
Oh yeah.
Real dirty move, but it's for $1 million fucking bucks, boy.
What I don't understand is when Nelson showed up, I don't know, maybe it was just editing, but Nelson,
what are you talking about?
Nelson seemed confused. He almost seemed like he was suddenly buying into.
But he was getting really defensive, which makes you look guilty. Instead of saying no, what are you talking about? He's like, what did he say? What's going on? Explain it to me.
No, it seems
what is happening?
He's suddenly believing Banana's own lie about himself.
Yeah, Nelly really needs to learn how to just play the game of life because he just doesn't do it well.
Game of life.
He's always just having some goofy fuck up about over something. Yeah.
And again, another heartbreaking loss for him in the challenge.
Fucking
the same thing happened to him on Vendettas. He gets a little overzealous on the truck car and hits one of them and ends up with the lowest score. And then TJ goes oh, well, sorry, but you gotta go. You got the lowest score. We have too many guys. Nelson has not lost an elimination in this entire trilogy, and he has not made a final in any of them. Now, jury's still out up for this one.
Man, that's fucking brutal.
I know. When his career is said and done, Nelson's his track record, his overall body of work is not going to tell the story of how good of a competitor he was.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's not the proper way of putting it. His overall record in terms of finals and wins is not going to be great.
He's going to be
his body of work and how much he's put into the game when he's been on these shows is incredible.
Currently, he's going to be 1 final and 9-1,
8-1,
8-1.
Yeah.
How many? Now we always bring up Laura's record, but how many finals did Laura go to?
4 out of 5 until she lost. Every single one until she lost because there were no purges back then.
Yeah. So
and she didn't hit anybody. We got to mention that.
So, what is that? 8-1 or is she 9-1?
Yeah.
So Laura's 9-1 has been to 4 finals, and in 5 seasons, Nelly is 8-1 and been to one final in 4 seasons.
Poor guy.
Fucking pathetic.
And he was 2 minutes away from beating CT. He was so close. If Camilla didn't drive that boat into the freaking the wrong direction.
This is the wonky shit about finals. Always those like guiding a raft in a water segment. That's in every fucking final. And
usually when team like capsizes or gets like stuck in the weeds or something.
Exactly. Someone flips, someone hits land, someone goes the wrong way. Always. Was it that one in Invasion? You said going the wrong way. Was that the one that I remember somebody, I swore it was Invasion, went down like the wrong like stream. Like they were like riding the river and then like they just like took a rogue left or something.
Wait, what season?
I can't remember. I thought it was Invasion. Where someone just like
I think that was it. It was Camilla. She took a rogue turn.
Yeah, and she just started like going in on like a much smaller like
and then like everyone was like yelling. I was like, no, that's not the right way. And that time might have screwed Nelson over.
Oh man. Some of that stuff. Yeah. It's so like frustrating to watch when it's happening live, but like thinking back on like all of this goofy like without fail every like water rafting elimination in a final segment always has a goofy fucking thing that happens. Always has something go wrong. It's never just 3 teams that are really good at kayaking. It never happens. There's always one thing.
It's like when Devin almost killed Zach in the water on Free Agents.
Yeah, always. I remember Johnny Riley in a water section.
Yeah, him and well, he was also in that same final. So.
Oh yeah.
He didn't really have any. He didn't have any messages.
I didn't. I just remember him like I have like a strange visual in my mind of him walking on the shore after it. So I just remembered that there was that.
Well, the episode ends with a Bananas Nelson face-off, kinda. Even though Nelson still looks perpetually confused as he always does.
He hasn't figured it out yet.
So that's it for episode 17. You want to move into the sauna?
Well, we're already here.
Whoa. Even, it's not that hot here, but I'll lead it. How many you got?
We have to change it to the tundra.
To the tundra.
Because it's freaking cold.
How many you got? 3? 2 or 3?
I got it's like 3.5. One of them,
why don't you go first?
I pretty much just made or combined 2 because
go first
of a similar thing. I think I'll read.
I hit the desk.
Proud of you. I think I'll read that one now. I got one right here. Nelly will be purged out of 3 seasons in a row.
Okay.
And Paulie and Natalie will win 3 challenges in a row.
Okay, I like it.
So that would mean that next season Nelson will get purged.
Well, Nelson's not on next season, so it'd have to be his next appearance.
Yeah, next appearance. Okay, yeah.
That is very likely to happen.
And
same thing for like Jenna. Jenna is the same type of situation.
And yeah, and Paulie and Natalie, they've been crushing it. Let's see them win 3 dailies in a row.
So mine first one is about Mr. Tony, who we did talk about a little bit earlier on, but I feel like maybe this is me buying into the hype too much, but like this man is not shown to be successful in any way in elimination rounds. Like he's in some bad losses, and I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's finals material. And I thought that after last season, but I don't think it anymore.
I think he's finals material. I don't think he's elimination material.
He's not winning a final is what I'm saying. So basically my take here is that I don't think Tony's that good, and I don't think he's ever going to win.
I don't think he's ever going to win either.
Like I think he's not a significantly better competitor than like Nelson, Shane, Hunter, Joss, like all these guys. Like he did show up in a big way last season, and I was very impressed. But like you also have to factor in like maybe he's a changed man, but the ammo loss, the losing to Shane on Invasion after saying that you'll have no problem beating him because he's the weakest male there, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And now this loss.
What's Shane's elimination record?
It's like not good. It's like 2 and 3, and I think both of the wins were this season.
Huh.
Again, another disappointing thing. Shane finally steps up and is good in eliminations for once in his challenge career, and then he only to lose in a purge. And I think that's why Shane was super emotional throughout the episode too. Is he just like, especially towards the end, he was crying. He's like, "This is the best shot he's had," and it's like he was so close. He's so close to like getting there.
Yeah.
And then like for that have that happen.
And his alliance had the number game.
And they got Johnny out.
Yeah. This was like just gearing up.
Heartbreak
so perfectly.
City.
Well, that happened. Let's see. I got one right here. No couple will ever get married who met on the challenge again.
I don't even know if that's necessarily that hot to take. These people do not stay together.
Well, that's the reason why I was thinking about that. I'm just running through takes in my brain. I was just thinking about making a couple take, and then I realized like all the couples that are together like on this season have already broken up.
Yeah.
Are Cara and Pauly still there?
Yes.
Okay, so just that.
I mean,
but I'm just saying just that they
I
are
wouldn't
the
even.
only.
I would highly doubt that they'd be together long term. They seem more like fuck buddies than anything else.
But I'm just saying, like, we had Brad and Brittany who seemed like really steady, and they're
toast.
Yeah.
And but some of these are never meant to work. Like Kaylee and Nelson. I mean, that was a disaster.
Yeah, that was never gonna happen.
Amanda and Joss were good on the show, but I mean, he lives in a different country. It's hard,
Yeah. So it is what it is. But as you informed me, 2 people have gotten married on the show. Only one of them has met through the show.
And both are divorced now. So.
Yes, and they're both are divorced. But my precipice was that no couple ever get married who met on the challenge. So maybe some "Are You the One" or something, and then they come.
"Are You the One" doesn't exactly work either for this. So,
but we met on X on the Beach, which sounds like a great marriage material right there.
No, those relationships don't last.
And then all of a sudden they end up on the challenge. That doesn't count because they met on a previous show. You got to meet on the challenge and get hitched.
It was funny last week. I saw when Corey left, he like kind of gave Pauly a big hug and like shook his hand, and I was like, since when does he know Pauly? And I remembered that Pauly was on X on the Beach. Like, you were just so like irrelevant on that show.
X on the Beach. Yeah.
He was just a background. He was literal wallpaper the whole time. Because he had his ex come in like week 1, and he just got back together with her and was like with her the entire time, like doing whatever. So like they were really boring and like irrelevant to any of the storylines that happened.
Well, that show's just dumb anyway. So,
well, next season's gonna be fun. We got
sure it won't be
the new love of Nelson and Angela. Bananas. What is with Nelson always going after Bananas' like girls right after?
Oh boy.
What do you mean, oh boy?
I'm just saying, like, does it sound
I'm not
shitty?
saying it's like intentional, but it's just a funny coincidence.
They should get Kaylee and Melissa on US X on the Beach.
Well, Nelson went on both X on the Beach. He went on UK and then he went on US.
Why was Nelson on UK?
Because he's Kaylee's ex, and they invited him, and he went.
Oh, is she still doing that show?
She did she did one of the seasons. Yeah, she filmed recently for an All-Star season. Kaylee's been on like 3 seasons.
Oh my god, that's great. Was Melissa on that season?
No. I don't think anyone else from the show was on that, but
no.
We're getting Bear next season though.
Who?
That's a spoiler for next season cast, but Bear is one of the like main faces of the show X on the Beach, basically.
UK or
UK, and they paid him a ton of money. I saw to get him on the challenge, but he's here.
All right, I think I remember seeing him once. I watched X on the Beach a whole 1 episode. I think he was in it just because I remember the name. Was he on the debut season that Kaylee and Melissa were on?
No, I don't think so.
Like
I think Rogan was on
season
that.
3 or something. But
did you have another one? You want me to go?
Yeah, I got one more, but it's a bombshell. So
all right. Next hot take: 7-Eleven, aka Bananas, will not win another elimination for his entire challenge career.
I don't know about that. This man's gonna be doing the challenge till he's he's 50.
His record recently is pitiful. He hasn't won since Rivals 3 when he beat Dario and Nicole. Before that, we have to go back to Free Agents.
Was that even an elimination?
Yeah.
That wine thing?
Yeah, it was an elimination. I'm surprised you actually remember that.
I don't know. I actually have like a really
That was like
vivid.
so long ago.
I have
that
a
we watched
really
that.
vivid memory of that elimination because I was like rooting so hard for Dario.
Now, I'm not saying. I mean, he's gonna have a shot at redemption next week. That I'm give that a pass. I'm talking about going forward.
Right.
He won't win another elimination.
Cool.
Now, I'm not saying that even he could still win a season. He's still gonna go far into seasons, but 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, whatever the format, he's not gonna win another one.
All right.
And he very well could still lose in a season instead. I guess that this really is a testament to the weird formats that they do these days. Like, I could see him not winning an elimination during a season and still winning the season.
Because back in the day, if you were just dominant, you could win every season, like Darrell.
Like Darrell, yeah.
But if Darrell was coming in at the age, like if Darrell comes in, how old was he when he started?
He was like 22.
Okay, if 22-year-old Darrell started season
30.
season 30, he wouldn't have won 4 in a row.
No, absolutely not.
It's just
a
the way
different era.
the way all the shit
Veronica
works.
probably wouldn't have won any.
No.
Derek Kay wouldn't have won any. Kenny wouldn't have won any.
It's the way it is.
Bananas give him credit for the free agents win, but a lot of those earlier ones were not great.
What about when he won?
We won with
Rivals?
Tyler. That was good too. Yeah, and Camilla.
Yeah, so 3 out of his 5 or 6.
The Sarah one was like, I feel like Sarah hardcore carried him, and the cast was like terrible.
You guys all say that. I don't think either one of them carried each other. I
just think in the challenges
they
did well in. It was mostly because of Sarah, and because Sarah was so much better than all the other girls on that season. Like even like Nani really didn't help Wes at all. Now Wes wasn't good himself, but like Devin had Cheyenne, so
Cara
he couldn't win
that
anything.
season?
No. She needed to be
was though, right?
Camilla was, but her and Tony got messed
Oh
up.
right, they
could have been competition potentially.
They literally got the boot because they didn't even get the boot for like violence or anything.
Yeah,
they got the boot for being too unstable.
Yeah.
Like that's ridiculous. Has anyone ever gotten the boot for just like you have too much potential to do something bad? Like
unsafe. They felt unsafe.
Yeah, has anyone ever gotten
I'm
the
sure
boot
they've asked
because
them.
of that?
I'm pretty sure. Remember Vinny, the guy who pulled Mandy's top off? He, I believe, one time got into a bunch of like drunken fights and like threatened a bunch of people one night to where they had to go to every cast member and tell them that Vinny felt safe, that like they felt safe with Vinny there, or else they were going to send him home. So there's like a video on like the shit they should have shown of just of like a bunch of cast members being like, "I feel safe." It's like Chet, I feel safe. Laurel, I feel safe.
It's because they didn't want the poor guy to get kicked off.
Yeah. Usually sometimes they give them the option, like Jen one time almost got. Remember Jen and Mandy? They were a team, and Rivals won.
Yeah.
Jen actually hit Mandy, but I believe it was said that Mandy was asked to send her home or not, and she decided not to. I think because she really liked Mandy's partner or Jen's partner that season. So a rookie guy that she liked, so she didn't want to punish him. And then Wes also that's a classic Wes moment too. Wes had a secret alliance with her, Jen, but he didn't tell his partner about it. So Jen voted against Wes the first 2 weeks, which pissed Mandy off. But it was actually part of his plan the whole time.
But then I guess it didn't matter because then he went out like episode 3.
No, it wasn't X's, it was fresh meat. He had Mandy twice as a partner.
I was about to say he had Mandy twice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it.
There you go.
So I think it's time for the bombshell. And I got that Paulie will start talking like CT by next season. So I'm referring to he's just gonna start talking in like
literally mumbling. He's
like
gonna
in
be
a
out
mumbly
chain
chain smoking. He's gonna be mumbling and talking like in that like gravelly tone. That sexy, gravelly voice.
He needs to move to Boston and get the accent going. Maybe Kara's wearing off on him.
Because I was like literally thinking about it today in the episode out of the blue. I was just like, man, like CT just has a good voice. Like he just has like an awesome voice. Him. I never had trouble understanding his mumbles, but like he just has like a really like unique and cool voice.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
like so. And Paulie's gonna look up to his idol, and he's gonna start talking more and more like More like CT. So expect to get really bad confessionals in CT's voice soon. Well, I think that's going to do it for tonight. We got a double header episode. It was fun. Sometime this year, I think the season might end.
Hopefully this year.
Yeah, hopefully within 2018.
We're not even going to have a break. It's going to be like maybe like a few weeks and then next season's going to start again. I have a feeling.
So, there it is. Thank you and good night.